ready now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I needed to look up one thing because she
You're
said
really stretching that topic out.
she said you're not supposed to stretch it. You're supposed to
Roll
anyway.
it.
Yeah.
What if you want it to? Oh no! I missed it.
So
Yeah.
Pauline Hanson, right?
Yes.
Somehow she's back in the game.
Back in there.
She went to prison for a while. It
Nice.
was great. She wasn't around.
She's like
Whoa!
the
She used to.
politician that never ends.
She used to hate Asians. Now she hates Muslims. That's the kind of general idea.
Ha!
Now,
She-
is that correct?
Wow.
Is that too general?
Sorry, I just saw this.
What is
Oh.
she
Did you want me to put
doing?
that up already, or do
Sure.
you want it later?
That's fine. Well, it's okay. Let me start from the beginning.
Mhm.
So the reason she's in the news this week is because she's doing a typical clickbait thing. But
Mm.
what's crazy about it is what she did almost got like passed. Now she's in the Senate, right? I'm right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
She had a Senate thing where she was talking.
Hmm.
I'm pretty terrible at government things, so bear with me.
She did have a Senate thing, and she was talking. Can
Okay, so she
confirm.
made a motion, which is Jono.
It's when you go to the toilet. And you...
That's a bowel motion.
No, a Senate motion.
Oh yeah. That's
What-
where you propose like legislation that everyone has to. Not legislation. but
Okay.
I think it's different from legislation in this case.
Um,
It's almost like declarative.
Yeah.
It's like we're going to agree to declare this thing
yeah.
as
What?
the Senate.
But it's not. Doesn't matter.
I
It's
don't
not a
think
real
there
rule.
was. I doubt there was legislation behind this one because I'm not sure what it would say.
Yeah. I was confused about this.
Can you look up the actual quote of what the motion is while I continue?
Yes.
So, the motion in the Senate, that's the government, the people who are meant to be sorting the country out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Debatable.
Her motion was that it was anti-white racism is becoming rampant.
The motion was.
Anti-white racism.
Her motion called on the Senate to acknowledge the, quote, deplorable rise of anti-white racism and attacks on Western civilization. I'm sure it was like a long manifesto of sorts, but it also included the words.
It's okay to be white.
You stopped too early there when you were
Yeah.
trying
Sorry
to lead
about
us
that.
on. I didn't know where you were
I
taking
was
think-
trying to lead you on.
No,
I
the
didn't
end
wanna-
of
I knew what
Just
you
keep
meant.
going.
I knew what you
So
meant.
say the whole thing completely.
That's the end of my quote that I have in this article.
Usually. Okay.
I haven't got the
Okay,
whole
where are
thing
we
here.
going?
Get the
Yeah.
complete quote. So she said, "It's okay to be white" in a motion. And first question for you guys: what's the difference between anti-white racism and white racism?
Well, I think if you said white racism, it would be assumed you're talking about racists who are white, like the Ku Klux Klan.
Okay.
Anti-white is sort of saying it's against white people.
Mm. So she is right with the way she's saying that.
I don't think that was the bit where people had an objection to.
Every time I read it, I'm like, that just doesn't sound right. That was my first question.
Right. It's
Well,
not.
Would you say? You would say anti-Semitic, or you
Yeah.
wouldn't
So
say Semitic
second question,
racism?
as for everyone except Jono, as white people,
That's a bit
three of us are
racist.
white. Jono's not.
Wow.
Have you
That was
ever?
it. Look, here you go.
Okay. Have you ever felt like you have been put by the wayside or stepped over or prejudiced because you're white?
I've been prejudiced.
No.
I've been prejudiced
What do you mean?
to
Did
other
you-
people.
Did you guys ever feel like it wasn't okay to be white? Maybe at a dance
Okay,
or
so-
at a place with particularly spicy food.
But
I did grow up in a very predominantly Muslim area,
Hmm.
and so I didn't necessarily feel like it was wrong to be white, but it was definitely harder to be a female white
Yeah.
girl.
felt
What do you mean?
on
by
the
that?
outer.
So I walking into like Bankstown Square or something.
Hmm.
We would have to walk past literally like a gauntlet of males, Muslim males, just like catcalling, all of that.
That's very un-Muslim of them.
Yeah.
And that might be more specifically about you being a woman than you being white. Do you reckon? That sounds like normal sexism
maybe.
that happens like everywhere in the
Good
world.
old-fashioned sexism.
Yeah, like.
I didn't have
Do you reckon it
any-
was because you were white or because?
I think so.
Right.
There's definitely
Mm.
it definitely plays a part.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I was in high school, I was a minority in my high school as a white person. Yeah, so it was just a very multicultural high school.
So the motion was Leader Pauline Hanson, One Nation, Senator Hanson to move that the Senate acknowledges A. the deplorable rise of anti-white racism and attacks on Western civilization, and B. that it is okay to be white.
Who wrote that?
So
They wrote that in emotion.
you know what's even dumber about this, guys? It gets stupider.
Okay.
She almost got the thing bloody passed, like acknowledged. Like
What?
they it was like
Yeah.
28 to 31.
Yeah.
That's really close, right?
Yeah.
How many white people are in the government compared to non-white?
Probably a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. I can think of a couple of. I think I can think of one.
Is
Penny
Mary Jane
Wong.
white?
No, in the government side, on the Liberal side.
Oh.
There's
It's
one
ridiculous.
brown lady from Melbourne, I think.
So, like, I don't.
What kind of examples is she giving for this?
I-
Like, how is she...
I doubt she has any.
How... What white people and how are they being prejudiced?
No, if you question it, then you're being too politically correct and you're trying to silence her. It's the same as climate change. If she disagrees with the consensus, she says that it's political correctness forcing her, telling her that she's wrong.
Yeah.
Well, her
ridiculous.
standpoint is it's not really that it's okay to be white. It's that I think it boils down more to, I would say, we care too much about people who aren't white. I feel like that's the sentiment.
There is.
Oh, yeah, no. Everything she says is actually racism against other people because she is definitely racist.
So
Like-
it really has nothing to do with being
She's
okay.
going after literally every other race ever.
Her problem is we spend too much time taking care of people who are not white.
Yeah. So when you actually hear her talk, not like clipped, and hear her talk for
Sure.
like 6 or 7 minutes,
Oh,
Yeah.
it's atrocious.
it's actually pretty interesting. Like you can tell where people kind of side with her.
Yeah.
Like it's once you put a bit of thought into it, though, you're like, okay, that's actually dumb. But she taps into like the idea of people get annoyed that there's too many white people somewhere. That's kind of like what she's against. So
Who's getting annoyed by that?
Okay. So when I kept pointing out that do those white people know that it's okay to be white? Like every scene from
Yeah.
that video with like the
Okay.
prince and princess,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's just a bunch of white people. But like I wouldn't normally care. I just was saying that because I knew we were doing this topic.
Yeah.
But I guess that does come up. Like people will point out, oh, there's not enough diversity in this thing, like a movie or a TV show
or like there is kind of a thing to blaming an actor for being white for being in a movie of like that does kind of suck at the actor, but compared to that's the only thing I can think of
Yeah.
as a white person you would actually kind of suffer from. I can't think of anything else.
It seems like she's importing culture wars from America because it's actually quite a big topic at the moment in America because there's a lot of big companies are going for diversity.
Okay.
So this is the heart
Yeah.
of the culture war at the moment is that, okay, these companies are going for diversity, but that just sounds like you're going to choose, you're not going to choose people based on their qualification. You're going to
Yep.
choose people based on their race, which is,
Yeah.
and it's likely not to be white. So then I guess that I can see where the argument comes from in that sense.
But she
Yeah.
takes it way too far in that she's making it sound like the Western society of white Australia is being attacked. That's kind of that's kind of where it gets really dumb.
I mean, it starts off kind of dumb. Like, but that's a thing. Like, Tony Abbott and John Howard are head of the Ramsay Foundation, which is funding Western civilization courses at universities because they're saying that Western civilization's like cultural achievements get ignored in university courses, which is not true. Like, there are so many university courses covering Shakespeare and like Da Vinci and like
what counts as Western? Sorry.
anything European.
Okay.
Anything of European origin or inspiration.
So
I
the
would say.
whole of Game of Thrones.
So like most of what you would learn in an arts degree.
Mm.
Like you've got Tolstoy,
Yeah.
you've got
Renaissance.
bloody all the English poets and
Most of Assassin's
French
Creed,
writers. Yeah. Well, no, they went to Egypt that time.
except for the Egypt one.
Yeah.
Perhaps
Yeah,
that's great.
so I don't know. I guess maybe, and it might be the way the universities teach it they might not like because there is a tendency from postmodernists if you read something now to apply now standards to it. I think that gets a lot of people riled up because they're like okay, for example, attacking okay, I'll say like the Duke of Wellington. Oh, not Duke of Wellington. I don't know. Some famous person who
Duke
was
of
like
York?
Like, okay, Winston Churchill was an example. That came up
Mm-hmm.
last week. It's like, okay, someone quoted Winston Churchill, an astronaut, and then all these people were attacking him. They were Indians, to be fair. This isn't, it was Twitter, so it's international, but
Okay.
they were attacking him because they were saying, because a part of the quote was like, one of the greatest wartime leaders ever, which I say is true, but he also took all this food from India that they needed to survive during the war so that
Right.
he could feed his troops,
Okay.
and about 3 million Indian people died.
Right.
So that's what people were pointing at. And it's sort of that idea of like, okay, you're taking what people did then and you're saying it's all crap because they didn't have our values now, which to a degree I understand, but then they just blow it way out of proportion because
Yeah.
you're not walking around going, I'm afraid because I'm white. But like,
No.
are you?
No.
I hope
No.
not. I hope no
No.
one thinks that it's
100%
not
we're
okay.
not.
Like the second part of her motion is definitely true, but it's so true that it's facetious.
Yeah.
Like, why are you bringing that as pointless?
People do make fun of me when I talk about spicy food.
No,
Yeah.
but like, white culture and Western culture should be downsized. How many ads do you see in a row where it's just white people? And then you go out anywhere in the bloody city and it's not just white people. There's everybody here.
Yeah, but her appeal is in places where it is just white people. So the thing they're scared of is the thing they don't know, which is not white people.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's the irony of it, is that her support is in the places where that's not really an issue because everyone's white. So it's like, what are you afraid of? You've never even met these people.
Yeah.
And what was really interesting though was that she was on the Today Show, whichever one Carl Stefanovic had, which was just great because Carl didn't attack her at all, which
Yeah.
was really funny.
I think he's maneuvering himself to be a right-wing pundit after he's like fired. I reckon that's his play because he's already doing the whole rant about stuff thing, which is like a right-wing,
And
Yeah.
like bread and butter.
but she's so
Yeah,
convincing
that's
because
true,
she's
actually.
so, in a way that she so seems like she believes what she's actually saying. And in that thing, she said, I have always, for my 20-year career, said I want people to be treated equally. And she said that, I'm like, you know, maybe she has been taken out of context. I actually thought that because she said it so definitely. I was like, it sounds like she believes what she said. And then that's
As
why I
long
was.
as they're white people.
That's why I
She
was
probably
researching while you guys were finishing your topic, because I was like, I just need to, for my peace of mind, I need to see that she's actually
I
said
don't know.
some
I
racist
think,
things.
I think she's forgotten.
And it
some
took
of
me
the
a whole
things that she said.
40 seconds to find something.
Yeah.
And that I saw she said, Muslim is a disease. I was like, okay, I'm right.
I mean,
she has said plenty of
technically
racism.
speaking, that's not racism, but it is discrimination on the basis of religion. But like, her very first speech in Parliament
treating everyone
was
equally.
attacking Aboriginal people and Asians,
Yeah.
saying they were swarming us. And then she's moved to Muslims lately
Mhm.
because I guess she's given up on getting the Asians out because there's too many of them.
Muslims are so hot right now.
Muslims, it's whatever's getting the people fired up, whatever can get her in the news. It's the same thing as she did with the burqa, wearing a burqa into the Parliament. It's like every now and then she has to do something really crazy. But the weird thing, you're right, was that the government accidentally voted for
The
it.
Prime Minister, what's his name?
Scott Morrison.
Scott Morrison actually said, like, I'm sorry my party did this.
Really?
Like,
Yeah.
that it almost got passed.
The reason people are upset also is because it's okay to be white is a phrase used by like certain elements of
yes.
troll culture on the internet to, I think it was born on 4chan. It's sort of a counter to Black Lives Matter
White
and like
Lives Matter.
sort of thing. Yeah. So like that's where it's originated from. She's obviously like, there's a lot of people online getting a lot of views. To be fair, there's probably heaps of people who think she's right. There's probably
Yeah.
heaps of Australians who agreed with what she said because
She's
they're
a
really
good
worried.
speaker, unfortunately.
No, you don't have to
Disagree.
be.
She's horrible.
She's a terrible
has a
speaker, but
whiny
it
voice.
works for a certain segment of society.
Mm.
It actually connects with them. So even if it's the wrong story, if it's a story that they can
Yeah.
relate to, then it's going to work.
Mm.
Like the story doesn't have to be true; it has to connect
I mean, a good speaker in that she's convincing.
to some people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To other people who need facts and actual information and questions.
I get sold on emotion. Okay, that's why I checked before I made sure.
Oh, she
that
gets very emotional. Like
Yeah.
that's the mark of a good storyteller, is they convey emotion, right? So
But like even before that stuff, like I didn't even care about that part of it. It was just like, this is so dumb, and like that just makes it double dumb.
Oh, it's extremely. And the government was saying it was an accident that they voted for it, but I think most of the government, I think most of the coalition cabinet would support that motion.
No, and they
Tony
they,
Abbott certainly would.
they
They
said it's been on like the wall, which I guess is where motions go.
So
like
for every
weeks.
vote, I think the whip of the government sends, oh, this is the government's position on it, because they
Right.
don't pay attention all the time because they don't care. That's what that's a government position.
They don't pay attention.
In House of Cards, that's his first job. He's the whip.
I didn't know that was a position.
Yeah, they literally whip the votes. They actually get the people to vote. They actually get them to turn up and vote.
Vote.
It's someone's job.
What?
Vote.
Okay, I just feel like if we're paying you a lot of money to be in the Senate, you should be paying attention during the meetings.
When people are putting forward stuff like this, when Pauline Hanson's talking for 20
I don't
minutes,
care who's putting it forward.
that's
Too
a
long.
hard job.
This is
That's
your
very hard to
job.
pay
Probably
attention to
two
this.
lines in a huge document.
Why
No,
even
but you
have the
actually you do
meetings?
actually get in trouble if you vote against the government. If you're
Yeah.
part of a party and you vote against the
Oh,
party
yeah.
line,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
if the party said vote yes for this, you'd be like, well, okay.
But not everyone always votes with their party, right?
No, but that's a big deal if you do that. You
Yeah.
can get demoted
You
from
have to
cabinet, and you'll get
obviously
overlooked.
believe-
You'll get overlooked for promotions and stuff like that.
Might
You can
get
go to the backbench and do that.
Might get
Yeah.
whipped.
Whip.
Okay.
Whip.
They
So-
care about number one, Ev.
On to more
Who's
news
number one?
that's
Themselves.
Oh,
actually
themselves.
on to news that's actual news.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Do we have time?
Can you do it quickly? Or do you want to do it?
Goodness, we spent 20 minutes on the Royals. Who is Eugenie? I still don't know.
Well, I told you I had lots of
Eugenie.
stories, guys.
Such a silly name.
Hey, that's a kind of cool name. Because you could call him Genie. He's like short. That's a cool nickname. Anyway.